What's up, everyone? Yeah, I just want to touch on a little bit, speak on with one of the situations in person to have random people come up to you and be like, I appreciate what you did and what you're doing. And I'm not going to lie, that's not normal for me because, I was used to people just not saying anything and just acting like nothing is happening, which is okay because a lot of people just didn't want to be involved and stuff. So I get it. They didn't want to be looked at a certain way by everybody else, and I can't criticize them for that because especially if you don't have the right spiritual backing or anything, you don't want that type of stuff on you. So respect. But to hear that and see that folks are actually paying attention to what's really going on, that touched my heart a lot. I'm gonna be honest, man, because they don't know me. That apparently they gotta know what's going on for them to say that. You have to know what's going on because other than that, you wouldn't even know me for real to say something like that. So I can read between the lines, and I respect it and I appreciate it. And it's not that I need the validation or anything like that, but just to see and to hear somebody in person come up and say something like that unexpectedly, then that means a lot. But after a while, it becomes like almost like a dry spot. Not saying that it's dead or anything like that. It's just like you don't expect anything from it, so it's nothing growing in that feeling. Put it like that. It's nothing really growing. But to hear someone express themselves in person to me, it actually it touched me a little different though, because when you're not used to something like that, and it's like not like I became bitter or harsh towards anyone through my situation, which it could have turned me going through all of this, and it's like no one's really trying to pay attention. That's how it was seen, but that wasn't my focus either way, because apparently if it's happening this way, it has to happen this way because I need to focus on myself for real. I need to focus on my mission. So that's really what it was. Even though every now and then it would dawn back to the situation, the stuff around me. I even put it to the test a few times, and I done showed some people my gifts. I already knew they knew that, but I showed them, and it was almost like they kind of like try to overlook it. They was trying to overlook it. So I left it alone. I read between the lines. It's like, how should I say? You see but you can't say anything type of situation. So if you express yourself some kind of way, then I guess the powers that be or whatever, you focus on that part. Because you definitely ain't paying attention. Anywhere I go, it doesn't matter. They definitely be paying attention, so I get it. But yeah, it ain't no secret. Definitely ain't no secret. They try to keep it a secret. This the type of stuff, the stuff that's carrying on. This the stuff that should be on the news. For real. This is stuff they try to sweep under the rug. I mean, it's still known. It's still known. You can't hide that. But yeah, I just really appreciate the fact that, you know, to get some type of sense of warmth from somebody else out there, because everybody got their own opinion of how they see and feel and everything, but it takes a lot for you to actually express who you really are, because that makes you vulnerable in any aspect. It could involve an attack from somebody else. It could involve you feeling like, you open yourself up too far. But nah, it's not vulnerability in a way, in a bad way. It's a good thing because, technically that's how we supposed to be. If something's wrong, then you set boundaries. You don't block yourself, because that's what you're doing. You destroy yourself. If there's a problem with anything outside of you, then why would you harm yourself? Why would you block yourself? Now think about that. Why would you do that? Somebody hurt you, now you feel like you gotta go and be destructive and do what they did to you, type of, what is that? It's not gonna get you anywhere. It's just gonna make it worse for you. It's not proving anything. It's not gonna solve anything. It's just gonna show your quality, your value of yourself, and it's not high at all. So, when stuff happens, don't rob yourself. Allow yourself to feel, express yourself, but set boundaries to the way you express it and who you're expressing it to. That's why when you go into any situation, you just don't give yourself away completely. Unless you're comfortable with yourself and you know how far to go, just go in and engage it. Go accordingly. Just go accordingly to the situation, Never put that in your mind, oh, I gotta be like this because that's the, then who are you living for then? When you feel like you gotta be a certain way based off of what you experience. I mean, we go through experiences every day, all day, but it's two ways you could actually get something from the experience. Right and wrong. The right way or the wrong way. You're gonna learn something. Even if you don't grasp it on the wrong side, you're learning something, but it just didn't process right, and hopefully it will process, because a lot of people get stuck in that cycle, just around and around and around and around. And really, life is not complicated. It just, at times, we just make it complicated. All the situations that we involve ourselves in, what we associate ourselves with. Addictions, anything, outside of our own mind, it's a distraction. But it's just best to don't rob yourself from who you really can be for your higher self. Because I tell you what, a lot of people getting tricked, feeling like, they can't be this kind of way because this is going to get me hurt and this and that. But really, that side of you is who you're supposed to be. But just like everything comes protection, so you got to learn how to protect yourself while actually being in that energy. Why would you block that out of you being your better self because of what somebody else might do to you, or how they might express themselves, or what they might say to you? So now you got to rob yourself. It don't make sense, man. The more I sit and I think about this, I'm like, man, all this time, where I see stuff, we thinking we leveling up on some kind of way, or these old patterns that we was stuck on. We weren't leveling up. We was sticking ourselves in the mud and just keeping it there. Making stupidity sound like it's logic or something. It wasn't even logical stuff. We was deceiving ourselves when you really think about it, because it's like, how does that make sense? You doing something that blocks you and hinders your growth, but you feel like you're getting back at somebody else. That doesn't even make sense, man. The best thing you can do when it comes to life and actually learning is to keep moving forward and don't even focus on somebody else, because somebody else is going to do what they're going to do. You got people that's real life agents of chaos out here, And their whole goal is to just cause confusion. While you think you getting back, that don't even matter to them. That ain't fading them. That's not phasing them at all. They just gonna keep doing whatever they doing. And long as you in the energy of destroying yourself, that's all that matters. You're gonna keep doing it. That's why when you upset, you gotta like really fall back and just think about stuff for real. You really gotta think, because when you upset, it puts you in almost like a self-destructive energy. It starts to build in that way, where you can allow yourself to do things that you know, it's not the best for you. And then when it gets bad, you find an excuse to make for it when really no, you messed up. Simple as that. One thing I learned is when you actually learn to be truthful to yourself, then you don't need anyone's validation, because everything you need is really inside of you for real. It's just, are you willing to accept it? Are you willing to accept growth? Growth, man, yeah, it could be painful sometimes because of the way everything feels. You can't see everything, so you gotta feel your way through it until you can see. But you can't get caught up in the feeling of everything. You just gotta feel it. Okay, is it killing you? What do I need to do to make this better? Am I being honest with myself? You know, it's just, you gotta ask the right questions. Make sure that you ain't your own enemy too, because 9 times out of 10, we are our worst enemy. Anything that we allow in our life usually starts with us, because we allow it in our life a lot of times. Some things are forced on us, yet I'm not speaking about those situations. I'm talking about the ones that when we allow, we accept certain stuff. So that's pretty much the case on that. But just not allowing ourselves to be our worst enemy. And then we talking about the devil at the same time. It's like, nah, you know, the devil, you have to allow the devil to play in your life in order for that to work. So as soon as you see that, you can get a hold of everything around you the way you're supposed to. So now the devil can't use you or manipulate certain stuff for you to trick yourself. He can't trick you if you know what's right for you. So if we tricking ourselves, then we're easily manipulated by anything. So the more we know ourselves, the better we are, the experience that we gain. That way we're not trapped in certain energies where we're just accepting nonsense and feeling like that's just what life is. Nah, that's not life, man. It's not living. That's misery. Because when you're sitting there, you're trying to make sense of life, but not making sense of it, then yeah, it's not going to feel good at all. The best thing you can do when you start to feel like that, because I see it's a lot of people starting to, you know, snap out, wake up, and they're not liking the feeling of you know, reality. And like I said, it's about your higher self for real. All this other stuff, it's a necessity to living, you know, for the physical. But if you're not focused on your higher self, then you're stuck on the low, where you're allowing anything and everything on that lower self to attack you. Meanwhile, trying to blame everything other than yourself. If you lift yourself up higher to your higher self, then all these things on the lower self, it can't affect you. It's not the same. You're not on the same frequency. You're not on the same level. So, you know, you'll be looking down at this stuff like, you know, it's not phasing you. You gain the experience to see it well, so it's not gonna bother you. But until then, you know, it's gonna be like a hamster wheel. You know, a lot of people like using that phrase, we living just to die. And, you know, to some degree it is true. But we're living here to learn. We living here to learn our higher self, to learn stuff that benefits us so when our body does, you know, die, pass away, whatever, unalive, I'm gonna say that, then our soul still holds the knowledge that we gained while we were here. When if you're focused only on working and doing all the stuff that doesn't feed your mind, the stuff that it needs when your soul moves on, then you're gonna still have the same mindset when you first came, when your soul first came. It's gonna be the same. So what are you feeding yourself? What are you feeding your mind? If you was gonna leave tomorrow and you knew this and you knew what life was really about, finding your higher self, would you invest in it all you can? Of course you would, because you know that. But a lot of people don't know this. They think, see, that's when social media and all this other entertainment stuff come into play, where it allows your mind to be manipulated to feel like you have to do certain stuff outside of what you should be doing. So you still can't blame anything other than you, because you're not thinking outside the box. Everybody else is in the box. And the people that's making all this stuff, that's manipulating, they're not in the box. They want to keep you in the box. Keep that in mind, man. It's tricky out here. And new levels, new devils. So, you know, it feels good when you level up and you feel it. But then you gotta stay in reality about this shit, because it's so easy to just make a mistake based off of, because you'll feel better about yourself when you level up. But it doesn't stop there, especially when you got work to do. Especially if you got different calling over your life where you're supposed to be, you know, actively doing certain things to lift the vibration of the planet and etc. It's about like what, almost 20 minutes. Yeah, I think, you know, it's time to start focusing on what matters. That's why a lot of people losing their mind and just spazzing out, because they feel like they don't have nothing to live for. They don't understand the meaning of life, because all they focused on was what they was told in the social media and entertainment. All that stuff it's like junk food. Don't get me wrong, it can be useful stuff inside of that, but if it's just that you're feeding off of your mind, it's gonna take you there eventually. You see what your body do when all you do is just eat junk food. You're not gonna be able to survive off of that. Shit, your organs, everything gonna start shutting down. It's gonna shorten your lifespan. Same thing with your mind. Depending on what you feeding it, it's gonna shorten it. But nah, thank you for listening. If you tune in, I'm gonna consistently drop another video, like every now and then, more frequently. But you know, more focus on other things. But I feel like I need to give more inspirational words, because there's actually people that listen. Don't get these numbers confused. Some of this stuff, you know, it is some manipulation going on. I'm gonna say that, but it's not all just bad. I'm gonna say that because what I learned, nah, it ain't all just bad, but it is some manipulation going on as far as my numbers and stuff. I don't care about that because I'm not depending on making any money. As long as I get something out that's useful, even as far as like people learning from certain situations, because not everybody's experiencing the same stuff. So if you really think about it, it's a way to learn in so many different ways. It's all, you can learn something every day. It doesn't matter. You should put your mind set to that. I should learn something every day. It doesn't matter what it is. I can learn a new flower. I can learn something, a new way to do something. It doesn't matter. But I think the key is actually to just focus on how you feeding your mind when it comes to learning something new, investing in yourself. The same way a lot of people like to invest and they want to work and they want to work hard and do whatever that to make their money. Invest in your mind the same way, enriching your mind. Until next time, y'all be easy out there. Peace.